What's up guys, macadii here. Now today I'm bringing you guys the Week 7 battle of the GBA D-League where I was up against Hardy, coach of the Miami Dolfinneons. Now we had to get a win on this one and then we have to beat Hardy to make, to beat Gassy to make sure that we do get through to playoffs. So if you are hyped for this battle, please do hit the like button down below. I would really appreciate it. Now, when he showed the team that he had, a couple of things made me happy, a couple of things made me really sad. First of all, I was so happy the Sylveon wasn't there, because that thing caused me quite a few problems. I know obviously Xploud handled it, but I had to make a lot of 50-50s, and I'm a little bit fed up of making 50-50s, and I just didn't want to get into that sort of game. Especially when he had the P2, I knew he'd be bringing the P2 again with the Xploud, but I just had to play it that little bit more cleverly, and I knew I would be in a much better position than I was last time. We are also on Showdown as well, because I've just moved in, and you need to talk with the network people to be able to actually connect your 3DS to Wi-Fi, so I've not been able to do that, so I really do apologise to you guys. It really annoys me that it's really frustrating, but there's nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. We have to get this battle done. As you can see, I have just literally done the battle because I'm really red in the face. I take my battles way too seriously, but anyway, what I did notice though was a couple of threats on his team. First of all, he had the Butterfree, which, why are you guys like, it's Butterfree, it's NU, it's fine. Like, I knew I had this is the thing, I had a plan for it, and it's NU, and it's not that good, but if that thing, by some magical miracle, managed to sweep me, I would just be the laughing stock of the GBA, and I would be really sad. So, it kind of upset me that he brought Butterfree, because now I was going to be even more stressed. On top of this as well, I did see the Dragonite. Now, Dragonite is scary. Seriously scary. You got to watch out for weakness policy, though I didn't have, did I have any ice moves? I had Ice Beam on Xploud, but I just had to be careful, basically. And I knew Ollie was a defensive check to it. I had Sash on my Azelf, so I wanted to try and preserve the Sash, if possible, to make sure I could get a good Zen Headbutt off on that, because that should do a fair amount of damage. Obviously, I'd have to break the multi-scale first, but regardless of what happens, if he's in there with Dragonite, I do not switch out. I attack to get as much damage off as possible. I also don't see any way to really break the Umbreon Dusclops core. I mean, possibly Trick on the Latios was one thing I was aware of, but apart from that, or maybe even the Rotom, but yeah, he didn't really have much for it. So I knew I was in a bit of a better position than last time, because Weavile was not there to try and just be a massive threat, really. So what we're going to do is jump straight into the battle. As I said in the video, I was going to lead off with Azelf, because that means I can get my Rocks up guaranteed, which I really need for the Dragonite. On top of this as well, it means if he leads Butterfree, we have the game plan to guarantee that Butterfree cannot sweep. So what we're going to do is jump straight into the battle. So I led off with Mirage as he leads off with Butterfree. So now, there's no way I'm going for Rocks. I go for Knockoff, because I knew if he goes for Bug Buzz, I go down to my Sash, I kill him the next turn with Knockoff. Nothing appreciates a Knockoff switch in. Next, and I'm still alive with Sash, and I can set up Rocks later on, because he does not have Rocks on his team. Next up, if he goes for the Sleep Powder, that's absolutely fine, because I've got damage on the Butterfree, I've broken its Sash, I can go out into Excadrill on the subsequent Quiver Dance. If he just went for Psychic, or which he wouldn't do, if he went for Bug Buzz that turn, I'd be absolutely fine, I could take it, I can outspeed it +1, and I can kill it. So I was guaranteed, regardless of the way he was going to play this game, to actually take him out. So, the only way he maybe could have done it was to... No, Quiver Dance the first tempo... No, it's... Yeah. Maybe not. But anyway, I go for Knockoff here, and I knock off the leftovers as he does go for Sleep Powder. That's absolutely fine. I can actually preserve this thing in its Sash, and I knew there's plenty of mons that I can actually heal up with Umbreon to actually, yeah, get rid of that sleep. So I go straight out into Cash Flash here, Mold Breaker, and this one goes straight for that Quiver Dance, and we're absolutely fine. We can just revenge this guy straight away. I knew the Rotom might come in, but that was absolutely fine. I had switches to that. Goes out into Multigrade. Now, this was an exception. I wanted to go out to Ollie, because defense, this is my best defensive check. I mean, +1 Outrage still doesn't 2-hit KO, so it has a very slight chance to 2-hit KO. So I got the Will-O-Wisp off. That's absolutely fine. Now, this thing is crippled, broken multi-scale, and also, the key thing as well, revealed no items. So that's weakness policy. Almost certainly weakness policy. Does go into Blender here. So, putting the pressure on me as I go for the Seismic Toss. So I switch out here, and I decide to go into Xploud, because Xploud can take any hit from Blender. He's not got his, he's not traced my Soundproof. Anything that switches in is pretty much dead. So, goes to the Shadow Ball. That's even better, so I'm at full. Goes out into Washington. Now, this was actually a pretty big roll. Actually, no, it wasn't, though. I think he would actually live it. That's a mistake. So it goes back out to Blender here. I decided to play it safe and go for a Boom Burst, because what this meant was I could, even if he decided to switch out into Blender, that was then a free switch for my Umbreon to get the Heal Bell off, which would be really, really useful to have. So I do go out into Anubis here. As he goes for Toxic, that's great. I synchronize the Toxic, and I'm Heal Belling the next turn. So now I'm in a position where Blender's now crippled. Goes out to Vileplume here as I go for my Heal Bell. Now, I decide to make a very aggressive switch, because I knew this guy had almost nothing for my Crobat. He had no switch-ins now, because now he'd pretty much sacked off his Rotom, because that's now at 9%. And that meant Banded Brave Bird just really, really does a number on his team. So I decide to go out into X-Wing and goes for Aromatherapy. So now I've still got that Dragonite to try and deal with, as goes out into Washington to sack that off. That's absolutely fine. So now goes out into this thing. Now, I was a little bit scared with this. I thought this was going to be Scarf, because that just reeked of Scarf bringing that in. But I do go out into Anubis here as he goes for Draco. Unfortunately, misses the Draco. That is a bit unfortunate. It's also actually, this sounds a little bit weird, but it's unfortunate for me, because I'm not actually able to calc what type of set that is, because if it did loads and loads of damage, I knew it was Specs. If I knew it did a bit of damage, I knew it was Scarf. And also reveal if it was Life Orb or not. So that was actually, while the miss was big, it was actually not as big as people might think. So it goes down to Dorito here. I had no problem with foul playing here, but does get that poison. Now I need this guy to be at a good amount of HP in case it was Specs on that thing. It goes for Giga Drain. Really not doing a huge amount here. So I decide to make a offensive switch here, and I go back out into X-Wing because I knew I could take any hit. Goes for Toxic. So now I'm in another position where something's going to have to go down. So go for Brave Bird here, and we get a crit and take out Blender. But to be honest, we 2-hit KO'd anyway, so I don't think that made any difference. Goes down to Multigrain now. Now, I calc this. He was going to live this, and I could not afford him to set up at all. I needed to get him either kill him, which I couldn't do, but I just needed enough damage as well to actually be able to get a knockoff with my Aza, because I still had the Sash. I'd woken up, so I knew this guy, if I got enough damage on him, he wasn't going to be a threat, and I could actually handle him from there. And he couldn't roost up as well, because there wouldn't be enough HP. But goes to Dragon Claw, takes me out. That's absolutely fine. That was definitely worth sacking. Now, I decided to go into Cash Flash here. Now, this was a really, really tricky point, because I could have either gone into Cash Flash here, which I knew the Vileplume handled, or I could have gone out into my Azaf. Now, the problem is, if that guy had extreme speed, I was still under the impression that Latios was Scarfed, and potentially the Scarf Latios could still present a problem. It's very unlikely, but you're always better off trying to preserve your Sash if you can, and I knew this guy would probably have extreme speed and break that Sash, which would make me really sad. So I decided Excadrill was the safe middle, because I could kill this guy. If he did decide to go into Vileplume, I would be absolutely fine. So I go for Iron Head here. Now, I knew this guy was really crucial, because once I got rid of this guy, I could take almost any hit from the Latios, outside of maybe a Surf, but even then, that means if that's the last one alive, I can go into something else. So that would be absolutely fine. So this guy was going to be really crucial. This and also Azaf guaranteed my victory. So I decided to go for another aggressive play here, go out into Bieber, because we don't want... We don't want this Dorito to be messing about here. So he is at pretty much full, but I do go for Boom Burst, and unfortunately that doesn't kill. Bieber's not getting the KOs this time, which makes me a bit sad. Where are these Okos? But anyway, I go for another Boom Burst, take out that guy. So now it's pretty much GG. I do sack off Bieber here because I could not afford him to Dragon Dance there. There's no point going for Differential as well, because with the way the games work, because it comes down to me fighting Gassy on that final battle, that's going to determine who goes into playoffs. And it's not going to make any difference with Differential, because we will not tie under any circumstances. So the win was the main thing. So I did sack off my Bieber there. Go out into Cash Flash. Iron Head kills this. And now this thing I was pretty sure was Scarfed. And outside of Surf, I could take anything. And then Umbreon could come in and kill it. So I figured the safest play was just to go for Iron Head. And does reveal that got the Surf. And that also... well, I go out to the Mirage now, I'm guaranteed to kill. Knockoff does reveal this is Choice Specs, so I played it a little bit safer because I was assuming that this was potentially a Scarfer, but as you can see, it was Choice Specs. But anyway, absolutely fantastic battle. Our team really did what I wanted it to do, which makes me happy when it does that. I didn't have to do many crazy plays. I just had to make some very aggressive switches and then just play safe from there, and just preserve my win conditions, and yeah, fairly standard game. So I hope you guys did enjoy the battle. Absolutely fantastic. I will link Hardy down in the description below, if you want to go and check him out as well, because he does make some really hilarious content. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the battle, and I will see you guys at the next one. Macadii out.